I love reading about people that made a big impact on our country. I love moral courage, folks who were not very popular at the time, but in the end were proven right.
Was there something in how that you grew up that led you to where you are today?
I grew up as a farm boy, and I joined the Air Force at 21, did that for 30 years, and 2 years after I retired, I was able to win a seat against an incumbent Democrat. It was a tough race. But what got me started, my grandmother gave me a World War II book when I was 10 years old. I read it maybe 20 times. I love reading about people that made a big impact on our country. I love moral courage, folks who were not very popular at the time, but in the end were proven right. So Abraham Lincoln is probably my favorite of all presidents. And I look at Martin Luther King, tremendous moral courage, and he paid for it with his life. I would say Ronald Reagan, when he ran for president in 1976, he lost, and I became a huge Reagan follower at 13, and I got involved in county races after that. I had a passion for statesmanship and history. And so those people inspire me. Well, my North Star is the Bible, and it's some things are so counterintuitive by like pray for your enemies and love those who persecute you. That is a hard line and I've been challenged by that verse since I've been in politics. And it's about being honest, being true to your word, love your neighbor. It's counterintuitive to politics. And I think we live in a post-truth society today, that's what I call it. When we lived in the Judeo-Christian, where that dominated our culture, it was about doing the right thing. In a post-truth society, it's about winning. It's more important to win than to do the right thing. So the ends justify the means, and I don't like it. It's not right. When you're driven by beating the other guy, then you don't find compromise, you don't find consensus with the other side, and our form of government relies on consensus to get things done. There's a few times I wish I would have kept my mouth shut for a little. Hold your temper. People who are too quick to voice their anger, I think, pay for it. My ultimate moral compass is trying to follow the teachings of Christ and the Bible, and there's been times where I've had to go against my leadership. But I've had to do that just a few times in my life. If you're doing it all the time, there's something wrong. But there's times you got to stand up if something's not going right. And it's a reminder that one person can make a difference in a unit, one person can make a difference in Congress, one person can make a difference in our country by standing up and doing the right thing. I'm really proud of the work that Chrissy Houlihan and I have done. We're both on the Armed Services Committee. What we're trying to solve is we have many junior enlisted people in the military that are on SNAP or food stamp program. They're having to go to food banks. It's not right. And our housing was given a failing grade, the military housing and military barracks. Chrissy Houlihan and I worked for over a year together with 13 total people on our panel. You would not have known who was a Republican and Democrat. We were one team with a mission, and we came up with 31 recommendations. We got 31 passed out of the House, and 29 were approved by the Senate and signed into law.
Can you share a story with us about how you have helped your constituents along the way?
First of all, we have Offutt Air Force Base. I was the commander of that in 2011 and 12. We had like a 50-year flood in 2019. A third of the base was destroyed. And so I was able to get $1.4 billion to rebuild Offutt. And so I was able to get enough Democrat support to get it done anyway. We had a meeting that started at 10 a.m. and it took till 5 a.m. the next day, working nonstop until I was able to get the support. Also, I've been able to get about $73 million for a rebuilt new airport. I feel like we've had a big hand in modernizing an airport that hadn't been modernized in over 40 years. It's going to be an international airport now, and so I'm excited about that too. We have two big threats facing our country. We have the national security threat, Russia, China, Iran. The other threat is our national debt, that's $36 trillion, and it's driven by the fact that 73% of our spending now is mandatory spending. We used to have 15 workers for every retiree. Now we have 2 workers for every retiree. That framework is, we got to rethink how we fund that, because it's just not doable right now with how we built the system. I never wanted to get married early on. My family, I had a dysfunctional family growing up. I didn't think I was able to probably be a good married guy, seeing the divorces and the sort of the domestic violence in my home growing up. But then I met my wife at 18 and I go, wow. And suddenly I changed my mind. I got married at 20. And we've been married for 41 years. If I would have just been Don Bacon as a single man, I think I would have been less self-discipline, self-control to my life, and I think I would have achieved a lot less. And I couldn't have done it without my wife's support. 16 moves in the Air Force. I don't think I could have done 10 years in the Congress. But her and my family are calling for me. They say, Don, we're looking forward to you being home more often. So we'll see how much longer I can do this.